Do you really need a high-res portable DAC to listen to music on your phone? Not really. Keyword being need. Obviously, your phones have DACs built into them if you especially have a 3.5 jack and can connect your headphones directly into them. They would just convert digital signals into analog signals and send it directly to your headphone. If you do have a phone that doesn't have a headphone jack, which nowadays is pretty common, you can get a dongle like this. This is the Apple dongle, and connect your phone to this dongle, and the dongle will automatically transform digital signals into analog signals, and you can listen to your music on your headphones, earphones, IEMs. So the question is not if you need a DAC. Of course, you do need a DAC on your phone to be able to transform digital signals into analog signals. The question is, do you need a high-res DAC like this one? This is the FIO KA11. It costs 2,500 rupees. Or can you just get a generic ass dongle like this one that I got from Amazon for 200 rupees to listen to music? The truth of the matter is that 99% of the people won't be able to tell the difference between, let's say, a 24-bit 192 kilohertz music and a, let's say, even 16-bit 48,000 hertz music. So I would say that I'm a pretty average Joe. I probably fall into the category of the 99% of the people who can't tell a difference. And I have these two DACs here, and I use these to listen to my HD 560S. And I really couldn't tell a huge difference. Yes, I would be lying if I said I didn't hear any difference, because one, it does have more headroom for volume, and two, it did feel a bit more dynamic than the regular DAC. Maybe I would say that the sound stage was a little bit wider, a bit more fuller, but I don't think anyone would be able to tell the difference between those two, any regular person anyway. This is getting to nitpicking territory where you're just listening to every single sound and it's like, what's the difference? And switching the headphones from one DAC to the other every 5 seconds and seeing if there's a difference. I don't think most people will be able to tell the difference between this and this. The second reason I'm saying it is because on Androids at least, you can't really listen to music above 48,000 hertz. For some reason, Android as an OS, this is explained pretty much well in the Headphone Zone video that I'll be talking about Headphone Zone in a bit. So Android as an OS can only really play 48,000 hertz music. If it gets an input of, let's say, 192,000 hertz music, it will just downsample it to 48,000 hertz. Getting around it is pretty much really complicated. You'll either have to get subscriptions to certain music players like PowerAmp. PowerAmp is free, but there are other apps like USB Audio Player, Neutron Audio Player. But these are paid apps, and if you want to play music on it, you can't just, it's not a streaming service. You'll have to download the music, the high-res music, and if you want to get it legally at least, you'll have to pay a lot of money for that. And if you're using any music service like Tidal, Cobase, I'm not even sure if it works in India, but Tidal apparently has some feature to bypass this problem in Android, and I'm not sure if Cobase has that. But pretty much all these methods require you to spend money, and if it's not a huge problem for you, maybe it's a viable option. On iOS, you don't really need to do this stuff. It just automatically works, and if you're playing a 96,000 hertz music, it will just switch to 96,000 hertz mode and it will just play that music. The only problem is that you can't really EQ on an iPhone, and I would say that an EQ makes a lot more of a difference than the resolution of the music that you're playing, so I would really choose Android than an iPhone. I do have a bone to pick with Headphone Zone though. They have a lot of things going for them, including their online store where you can purchase headphones, IEMs, DACs, amps, all these stuff at a pretty good price actually. The only thing is that in their YouTube video, the guy who's hosting it, Raghav, I guess his name is, I don't really like the way he puts DACs and amps on a pedestal. Like I said, most people won't be able to tell the difference when using a high-res DAC. But the way he talks about these DACs, it pretty much feels like a sales pitch.
One of the easiest way to explain it is to listening to music in high resolution or lossless is to be listening to music as intended by the artist.
Oh, and just by the way, as the artist intended is not really a thing. You can watch Crinicale's video on this where he explains that as the artist intended was just a marketing strategy made by Beats in order to sell their headphones. In most of those videos, he talks as though you need a DAC to be even able to play music at a listenable quality, which is absolutely not true. It's pretty much a blatant lie. Same goes for the way he says that a lot of the DACs, including the Apple dongle by the way, which, just FYI, one of the greatest revered audiophiles, Crinicale, says that he uses the Apple dongle for the 800S. And he says it's fine. He says it's fine. It's an average dongle. It works.
I myself am able to listen to a HD 800 off of my Apple dongle.
But according to Headphone Zone, it's nasty. It sounds nasty. That's what Raghav from Headphone Zone said.
Really, really simple. That sounds really, really nasty. And when you listen to something like this, you're never going to go back to listening to an off-the-shelf dongle.
Which, like I said, it's just a complete lie.
Again, look at this. The one true God.
I do have the Apple dongle with me and I do use it pretty regularly. The only problem is that I can't EQ it, but other than that, it sounds pretty good. Again, I don't want to have anything against Headphone Zone. It's just that they put DACs and amps in such a pedestal. But the thing is that you don't really need to get these high-res DAC amps unless either one, you really need it because you're using a headphone that has a really high impedance and or a really low sensitivity. And you really need the amp to be able to listen to the headphone without distortions or at a higher volume. So as long as you're getting enough volume and you're pretty much satisfied with the audio quality you're getting through your headphone, your IEM, it's pretty much good enough. And if you really want to go deeper into this rabbit hole, it's going to be a cache sync, and if that's not a problem, well, that's up to you. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.